The committee will come to order. We meet today in executive session to consider favorably reporting the nominations of the following individuals: Francis Brooke to be Deputy Secretary of Treasury, Aaron Brown to be Undersecretary of the Treasury for International Affairs, Dr. S.P. Kothari to be an Assistant Secretary of the Treasury for Economic Policy, and Hunter McMaster to be an Assistant Secretary of the Treasury for Financial Markets. I generally give an opening statement at this point and then turn it over to Senator Wyden. And then, since no other senators are present, we would then recess and come to the floor at the 11:30 vote and vote off the floor, if that's all right with Senator Wyden. I'm going to waive my opening statement because I've got an urgent meeting up in the Banking Committee to go to, and I will turn to Senator Wyden.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to hold you up. What would be useful to you? Do you want me to do this now or put it in the congressional record? Can I take a couple minutes?
Go ahead and take a couple minutes.
Okay. Today, the Finance Committee is going to vote on 4 nominees who would serve at the epicenter of self-dealing, the Treasury Department. I said last week that it was up to these 4 nominees to show the committee they had the independence and judgment to rein in Trump's economic chaos, that they would not be enablers of the president's unbridled self-dealing. Not a single one of them passed the test. Mr. Cuttery told my staff point blank that he was unaware of any analysis by the Treasury Department before the Trump administration launched the war in Iran. At last week's hearing, he was unable to show that he has a plan to rein in the economic consequences of Trump's pointless and illegal war in Iran, as Americans still struggle to afford filling up their gas tanks. Now that we're talking about a lack of preparation, that brings me to Mr. Brooke. He's a well-documented Trump loyalist. He's been in the Treasury building for over a year and has been serving as acting deputy secretary since April. He was the number 2 person at the Treasury Department when the Trump administration granted to Donald Trump a settlement for $1.7 billion in a slush fund and actual immunity from tax audits. Anyone nominated to serve as the second in command at the Treasury Department ought to be able to give Congress and the American people a straight answer about their involvement in one of the most obscene acts of corrupt self-dealing by a president in our country's history. Mr. Brooke did not pass the test. Aaron Brown's been nominated to serve as the Treasury Department's top financial diplomat, coordinating with international partners on key trade and financial matters. Donald Trump's made a lot of promises when it comes to trade and hasn't lived up to one of them. Instead, he slapped tariffs on America's trading partner at random, tanking global markets and making it harder for our country's business to compete. Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at a Reuters story talking about the prospect of, in a couple of years, generic drugs would face 200% U.S. tariffs. I would ask unanimous consent that we could put that in the record.
Without objection.
So the reality, and I'll close with this, Mr. Chairman, again, the Trump administration refuses to pick up accurately the economic pain that's being inflicted on American businesses because of all these tariffs. Their tariffs are out of control. Ms. Brown failed to show this committee that she's prepared to take on the role of rebuilding our economic and trading partnerships from the ground up. Clearly, what we need to do is have a trade toolbox. Mr. Chairman, you and I have talked about this in the past. Tariffs would be a part of the toolbox, but not the only thing. So I would ask unanimous consent then, Mr. Chairman, to put the rest of my statement in the record.
Without objection.
Okay.
You can. All right. Well, thank you, Senator Wyden, for accommodating me. As I indicated, I've got to get back upstairs for the Banking Committee votes. And unless another senator wishes to speak, which obviously they are not here to do, we will now, without objection, recess and reconvene to vote on the nominations off the floor of the Senate. The members will be notified at the time, and actually it will be at 11:30 today for the 11:30 vote. Without objection, that is so ordered, and the committee stands in recess.